or whatever. But I just, for now, I've stepped away. I'm working on other projects. I think is like the best way to put it. I don't agree with a lot of things anymore. So I kind of like what you were saying, like I'm finding better places to put my energy.
Yeah. Also, hi Anna and hi Mo. Hi, you guys.
Hello.
Yes. I just dropped a message. I'm gonna be right back. I'm just not able to chat all the way right now, but I'm listening and I'm going to share with you guys. So I'll be right back to like say hi and give my spiel. But I'm here and happy to be here.
Thanks for joining. Yeah. No, actually, maybe we can talk about this a little bit more focused today, if you guys want. About I don't know if you probably you have not already heard, because the Moi is really slow in publishing on Twitter. But this Friday, Fashion Fridays, will be held specifically on the topic of DAOs in fashion, right? The risks and the opportunities. And maybe this is something we could also talk about a little bit more today. Like your experiences, right? And yeah, like, since, Mo and I, we started being in the Global Designer Network pretty early on, right? Which was, at the time, we learned it to be a DAO, right? We then found out it kind of wasn't. But this is like how, for example, the two of us met, right? So that was like, I think it was also Mo's first encounter of being in a DAO. I'm not entirely sure, but I think so. And from there, I've joined like several projects, and it's really hard to say what really makes a DAO, right? Because there are different DAO models. So if you look in the fashion space and you look at Red DAO, for example, Red DAO is like self-proclaimed a collector's DAO, right? A digital fashion collector's DAO. So considering that, right, they have very different rules to the idea of a DAO than, maybe something like the ENS people from Ethereum, or maybe the Bankless DAO, or maybe, it's just so different. And then what Kat said about the fashion DAO, and not saying it's good or bad, but she's right, if you join means like you're committing to something in a sense, right? And when I started to, think more of how are the layers of the DAO structured within Elena, it's like I considered like all of these, learnings. Also, I have been observing the Bancor DAO, obviously, right? And what's been happening there, and through all the good and now through all the bad. And usually the bad part tells you usually more of what you can do better than the good parts, right? The good parts are usually always the same. The good parts always consist of some form of rewards or incentive structure. But like the bad parts teach you like the deep details about how you should do better. And with the fashion DAO, I feel same as Kat. I felt while the intention is a very good one, right? It's a lot of like talking and not a lot of doing, right? And I think a big problem is probably like even the people joining, like myself, right? Like I already had so many other projects. Like why would I even, I knew that my time was so limited. So it took me literally like 1.5 months to put a server together, a Discord server, I mean, it's
the whole thing didn't have didn't have I think your participation and the amount you participated had nothing to do with like I've been trying to get so like I was trying to set up so much to do just for simple like certain branding things, even like logos, and the way the meetings were being run, it was not conducive to productivity.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that had nothing to do with like what I wanted to do. Like there was a lot of it that was not the way that the meetings were run, and then if I tried to run it differently, it was like there was a big clash.
Yeah,
it's the downside to decentralization. There isn't a central authority to appeal to get things done. That doesn't make it bad. That makes it a challenge you have to overcome.
Yeah, and I think that was so much of this. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, so I just wanted to make that like you understood that like you were one of the most productive people, I think. But this so much to me, like as I'm seeing this space like develop more and hearing about different trials and errors, and I'm glad that I think that this is a good conversation for today. But I just don't think the tools are there yet for everyone to be on the same page, or for everyone to like go in and understand. Like I think that the trial and error is very important because we understand what's needed. But I think that so much is still being developed.
It's more than just that, I think. And again, I'm going to come in from an outside perspective because, for example, with Atlanta, I do not bring much to the table as far as building skills. I don't know how to do all the stuff you guys do. I'm not a fashion person. I don't know anything about the first thing about this. You guys had to explain branding to me on some of the stuff with the color schemes and whatnot. Because quite frankly, it's not my thing. I did sales for years. I did, finance for years. That doesn't mean that I don't bring value, because I fill in gaps where your knowledge just isn't. It isn't. It's not that you're stupid. You're smarter than I am in the areas where you're skilled and expertise at. But if you don't have somebody there to go, hey, guys, did you realize that this is the part that they normally have a whole department in a company that does this for you? Have you looked at it? There's no central planner ahead. There's no CEO up there making sure those slots are all filled in a town. So there's going to be places and times where people are doing work you don't see. And unfortunately, the way things are structured, that's also often things that, because it's not seen, it's also not recognized in any way. That's not me saying, hey, pay attention to what I do. That's just a reality of things. Because a lot of the times when I look at Wonderverse or the D-Works board or all this, I'm looking for things that I can do that check off the boxes, but there's nothing on there that I'm qualified for because I'm in a fashion now, or I'm in a, and I write and I do this, like that. And it's not the kind of thing where I'm doing it. They're like, oh, well, you could write an article, on fashion. What do I know about it? I can write an article.
I'm imagining you right now as a fashion blogger. I'm like, what?
I've got no clue. I can write an article about poor schmuck that got sideswiped and hijacked by a bunch of fashion gurus, and he's looking at all these people wandering around in all these clothes going, but it's all three shades are lime green, ladies. I can write that all day because I know that. I can write about the business side of it, and seeing the money side. So, that's my point. But that mean that the ideas that I brought forward haven't improved things. That doesn't mean that the concepts weren't, instrumental at points. And this isn't me patting myself on the back. I see you smirking, and that's okay. You can smirk at that life. But that doesn't mean that there isn't value in those things. But they check off no boxes. And the thing about that is, that's part of the DAO structure. That's what she was talking about the tools. But I don't think there's a way to build that into the tools. I could be wrong, but I don't think there really is.
I think actually there is.
Because even just your voice, like you having just a vote.
My point was you don't know what you don't know until somebody brings it up to you. So how can you build something to say, tell me what I don't know? And
I think you can do that by exploring like more perspectives than your standard ones, right? So for us, for example, the standard ones is like current learn, grow, create, build, right? This is like the standard. But then like leaving that standard and building out opportunity bounties in a sense, right? Where you're offering something that's like a little bit out of the box from what you usually do, right? I think this is where we need to start thinking, because I had just like an hour ago, I had a very interesting meeting that really came to be out of pure coincidence and luck, I think. This guy's name is like Daniel Jacobs, and he's the founder of ThriveCoin and Missionaries XYZ. It's actually very, like, I don't want to shill the project because I don't know yet enough about the projects. But like the Missionaries XYZ thing, like it's just really cute if you click on the picture wheels. I just recommend watching the picture wheel. It's really adorable. But point is that the ThriveCoin project, right? It could be actually very interesting for us, but that I'm saying this under a lot of, like still skepticism because I haven't done any research, right? I just had this call with the guy. Looks promising and interesting and could be something for us to adopt. If we would adopt this, right, it would give us the opportunity to start thinking outside the box and start thinking for people who are not necessarily our core customers or core members, like Vlad, like you said, right? You don't really fall into the main cluster of this project, but still you feel apparently comfortable in it, right? And you like joining us. You're an active participant. The same for our youngest member, who's Tole, with just 16 years from Argentina, right? He wrote me this morning, very excited that he's visiting now today East Latam. And he's going to launch like his Worth clothing line on there. And, he was very excited. I wished him a lot of luck and stuff. And I really hope he's going to make it big, with young age. But point is,
big at all. At 16 is great.
Yeah, exactly. But, it's like, so if you have those members, right, who are like obviously part of your community, but they don't really project like the core of it. How do you make their time like well spent, right? And I think the answer is thinking outside your box. So once you've established your core experience and your core contribution systems, then it's time to also build tasks and ideas out for everyone else to join, and leave your like, this perspective, right? You need to have this perspective, I feel, for quite a while, so you can actually build out the project. But then as soon as this part is like more or less done in the sense of it runs, it starts running, this is when you should also consider who else is there, who wants to be part of this, but might not fit like the 101, So I think you can. It's just a matter of, getting to this point, at least for me.
I wasn't complaining. I'm more than happy with what's been going on. You threw me a bone and collabed with me on the one project so that I'm at least, in the club. I mean, I know that was throwing me a bone. I understand.
It wasn't throwing a bone. You threw me a bone. You posted those things and they related to what we were doing. So why not? Why not take your bone? This was weird. Forget it.
Well, I'll let that one go. That one was
Thanks.
too easy.
Yeah, please don't. Kat, you were saying?
I just think that this is a great conversation to be honest. It is necessary. Just like, it's interesting hearing what's going on with other DAOs and how things are run, because I think so much of it too has to do with, I think maybe why I emphasize the tool part is because it has to do with expectations. Like if there's XYZ tools, then everyone's expectations can at least like fall in line with those tools and with like what those tools are able to do, or like what the kind of like standard might be, even if you want to change them, and you can have discussions about like which tools to bring in. You know, that's the whole point of it. But at least because it's bringing in, like you're saying, Vlad, like people from all different backgrounds who are trying to understand how to contribute, or they can contribute, and it's just, I feel like it will create like a different baseline for what can exist or what should be happening. Because some people are trying to put in, you know, a lot of it has to do with what are you able to contribute to a DAO, and some people can give an hour a week, and some people can give 10 hours a week, and so those expectations are going to be so different from person to person about what to expect from a department or a project or
this. But you know, Kat, this is why I'm having such a hard time with evaluating time-based things, for example, right? Because I, like in the fashion DAO, it was also a thing. I think Nico said like 5 hours per week minimum, right? So I think it's very hard, right? Because just right now I'm working on a project where, you know, it's more about quantity than like really quality. And, you know, they asked to also have 2 interns on the project, which I'm good with, right? But, you know I'm just very fast with 3D modeling now, you know? So I probably like...
a lot of things.
What?
You're quick. You're like a quick doer.
I'm a quick
with a
doer.
lot of things. Yeah.
I'm a quick doer. I take that. No, but thank you. But point is, you know, that I would probably spend more time helping the interns than I would be spending with actually modeling everything by myself, right? So
that's true, but that's also just in the beginning.
Yeah, I know, but this is just one project. I'm not going to do more projects with them, right? So a point is, you know, if you start like evaluating just on time basis, right? And, you know, I need maybe 2 hours and an intern would need 7 hours. Does this then mean that, you know, the intern's time is more worth than my time, right? You get the point?
Yeah,
it's a very questionable measurement is what I'm trying to say. So what I've been doing so far, for example, you know, writing a quote or an offer to someone, I consider myself as a slow worker when I write those offers, right? Because they are more realistic to what other people would need in time measurements for those tasks. And I started doing this probably when I was like, I think I had this like little enlightenment when I was like 26 or something. I was like, oh, I need less time for shit than others do.
Yeah,
so and I kept undercutting myself because of it, you know, because I was just fast. So I started to realize that in communication with others, and I was like, oh, damn, I've been undercutting myself the whole time because others need way longer than I do, right? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You need to know a project, not the time it takes to do it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, a lot of like these tasks or DAOs, they are trying to evaluate like the time you're ready to spend on the project, right? And I think that's the wrong approach. Like we're doing this right now as well, by the way.
Yeah, this is something that I dealt with a lot when I was on set, because so much of it had to do with shot count. Some people could get through a shot count in a shot count in a day, and for some people it'll take them half a day. And you don't want to be, when you're the quickest person, you're
Speedy Gonzalez.
What you don't realize is that you're setting a standard. You're starting to set you never wanted to be the quickest person, because then everyone else, or you're starting to set a new standard that's not attainable. But also like, oh, if they can get this amount done in this amount of time, why can't everyone else? And it's really important when you're doing something, you know, and that's when that is like literally setting industry standards right there. So you need to be very mindful of that, because that then goes into, like, if you're doing something like a day rate or if it's hourly rate, like that's a really big That's a really big deal, especially when you're an artist and everyone has a different approach to things, and a different way of how they different process. Yeah.
We dealt with this for 30 years. It's called commission sales versus hourly rate. And in the sales world, we dealt with it forever. Everybody hated the salesman because they always got paid more. Because we got paid based on what we produced. Didn't matter whether it took you an hour, or 10 hours, or all day, or 2 weeks to get it. It was all in what did you get done at the end of it? How much did you really bring in?
To the table,
and how much value did you bring? You were paid based upon the value you brought. And being paid value for value is different than trading time for value. And the whole world has been set up on this concept of trading time for money.
Yeah.
You get an hourly rate, you got a minimum wage, you got all of these things that everybody has set up the entire working world since the Industrial Revolution on this concept of time for money. Well, time for money has gone away because automation has made it to the point where people cannot ever keep up with what the machines will be able to do. You will never be able to trade your time for enough money to keep up with the machines. That is why we constantly are losing ground, economically speaking, overall. This is something happening all across the world and has been for the last 100 years.
Yeah.
However, if you trade value for value, you can make it. The problem is you're going to have to figure out how to judge the value, and that changes how you do incentives, and that's going to require a whole new way of thinking, and it's going to require being able to explain that new way of thinking, not just to the people that you're wanting to pay for the value they're bringing, but also to the people you're selling the end item to, because it changes price, it changes everything.
Yeah, but there's also the other end of that, which is really dangerous, and that's when you get zero boundaries with work in your lives, and that is what America has become, in my opinion. Like, or at least like these entertainment industries, where you don't have a life or your life is your work, and that's a really big issue too. And that I feel like is part of this whole Web3 revolution is just figuring out how to do things differently so you can claim your life back.
Yeah, and this is a good little space for me to hop back in here. You know, one of the things that I've been kind of exploring with that idea recently is just like how money is currency and currency is energy. So it's like just giving people the energy back that they put in and letting that be the reward system. And kind of like, you know, that's why we've been using co-ops and like, you know, you get an NFT for coming to an event or trying to like find a way to again let the, you know, energy flow and let that kind of be the way that we look at money in that sense. Because like I said, eventually money will be backed by so many different things. And again, why it looks like how Vlad would say, where it's like, it's hard to catch up with these machines. It's because everybody spends so much, they give them all their energy and then they know what to do with that. And then, you know, put that energy into elsewhere. So it's like, if we can shift that mindset to look at currency the same way and value that energy and put it into things, you know, that makes sense. And that's when we all start to see that impact.
Yeah, I like how you're seeing this. I had this morning a study group for the Token Engineering Academy, and we were actually talking, first we were talking about the Bitcoin white paper. I don't know if any of you have ever read it. It was actually quite interesting, I have to say. I knew a lot of things, but some of the things in there I wasn't like entirely aware of. So that was interesting. But also we had to read an article called "Can Blockchains Go Rogue?" Right? And it's written by Ocean Protocol founder Trent McConaughey. And he describes blockchains as living organisms through the AI technology. And I thought it was very interesting how he aligned those two things. And it reminded me of you saying currency translates to energy. But then, so Mo, how do you differentiate, right? So for example, someone visiting an event and, for example, not saying anything during the event, not participating in a chat, just really literally have their PFP pop up, right? How, does this then translate differently to, for example, taking part in building something for I know you've been building in NEOS, right? Is that then a different level? Do you give different POAPs?
So basically, and we've actually transitioned to Spatial this past week, which has been amazing because Spatial has literally backed us. They followed us on IG, and they only followed 300 people, so we're super excited. And the chief marketing exec literally popped up on me, and they're giving us a whole new space that they made just for DAOs. So keep it on the low. That's some super exclusive stuff for y'all. But yeah.
Oh, nice. Yes. Congrats.
I've got good things to say about Spatial so far, and I love hearing that.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. And I've got you guys in there, Alana the Web3 Green. I always got y'all repping. Well, for the whole DWC kind of thing, I got DressX, Entourage, Alana the Web3 Girl, and Faithful Youth. So, and that's where I actually stream our Fashion Fridays. So we have this whole Friday lineup, and I stream our Twitter space in there, and then a whole bunch of other people that make content. We stream their content right there in Spatial, and then even Friday, Tommy and I are doing a whole Code 3D session in there, and it's we're just trying to get people you make content, we'll stream it in our space. It's going to be super epic now that we have this new space, and we've been there a week and have 1,000 viewers so far. But back to your main question, I got too excited with that little tidbit, but definitely the way we've been using it right now, instead of using D-Word, we've been using Wonderverse. I think you remember when Andrews came and presented to everybody. So that's been the tool that we've been using, but we do a point system. So we give everything a different point for the different bounties. And then it's so say you come to an event, then that's 10 points. Say you actually lead an event, then that's 25 points. Say you create the content and make a flyer, then that's 5 points. So we give everything a different point instead. And then when we actually release our governance token again, however many points you have will be however many governance tokens that you get equivalent. And it'll kind of be the same way with that idea.
Yeah.
But doing different things in different ways. So that, like you said, even if you just popping up and sitting there, that's only but so much. And we've even had kind of a differentiating between showing up and participating. You will get maybe 5% more for actually participating, especially because a lot of the stuff that we do is a lot more interactive, and it's cool. We keep telling people we have our community calls in Spatial now, so it's we want to just keep showing numbers and keep being present. So if you help us, and that's cool too. So just kind of rewarding people for taking that step and doing this and getting in.
No, okay, that makes a lot of sense, obviously. Anna, I'm kind of curious. I know so far, I think in the Fabricant, they are not having an attempt to go somewhere near a DAO. But are you part of any other DAO aside from Elena?
No. I've been curious about Nico's DAO, or it's the fashion DAO. But yeah, I have 5 or 6 jobs, And,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's I like it though, and I'm not complaining. I love all of them. One maybe a little less than the rest, but most of them I really love. And
we won't tell Daniel. We won't tell Daniel that you don't like his project anymore.
No, it's not that. It's just
I'm just kidding. I was maybe he's walking in the background now.
But yeah, and I want to be doing my own art. So if something like Alana's, like, it serves me too, because I feel like I can be using my skills and talents, and it's helping, my artistic expression. But I also, want to spend time just making art for art's sake. So, right now when you said, like, she's asking for 5 hours a week, that's interesting. And probably, not.
Mostly not feasible, to be honest. Even for me, it wasn't feasible. Like, and I think for most it isn't.
Time into Alana and the fabricant. If I, and my art. Those are like my top 3.
Yeah. I mean, I won't argue with you about this, because obviously it makes me happy.
Yeah. And that's, I think that the spatial is a fantastic idea. They did a thing with the fabricant this week or last week, I can't remember. And they also said that they will be live streaming to YouTube. So we've been talking about that. I've been saying how important it is to do live on YouTube. So that might be a direction we could use for the Alana show as well.
Yeah, I wanted to say that too. Yeah, Mo, go.
Yeah. If you guys want to stream the Alana show on YouTube and then put it in our spatial space, we can all definitely collaborate and do that. Especially when G popped up on me, she had on one of the fabricants like wow outfits, and we were like, love the fabricant. I'm like, yes, Anna's my girl. And just like you guys said, it's like watching that blossom and being like, oh, the Discord, but like always doing 1,000,001 things. I'm like, it's so great that we can all like, just so connected in so many ways. Like every time somebody pops up in the space, they're like, oh, look at Alana, or look at that person, because we try to showcase everyone. And it's like, yes, like the space is so big, but yet it's so small, and it's like us working together that's going to make sure like we're creating the space that works for us all. So it's always exciting.
No, you're right. It is actually. Yeah, I mean, we can talk on this maybe on Sunday, if like we think this would be a good idea, because to be fairly honest with you guys, the Shriek, Protocol Gemini, he has been kept so busy with the Cyber Crew project, because it sold out so well on Loopring. It's crazy. Like, people are offering me now money to get those NFTs. And I'm like, no, they're pretty. I want to keep them. And even like his own project has seen like a lot of like good feedback right now. So I think like for him to finally launch, the Meta Gates, which we would be partnering up with, it will still take some more time, I think. So planning with an alternative could be a good idea. Okay, what, Kat?
Quick question.
Or Vlad? Yeah.
On that, where you're talking 5 hours, is there anywhere in there where you could maybe do your own art and maybe do some art for the Fab at the same time? I mean, is there a way where you can do some kind of work where you're overlapping, where you're doing projects that, you're not exclusively for one or the other, where, you could maybe, how do you say it, force multipliers here, get more work done?
It's a dream, right?
I generally try to look into things like that. When Bella's talking about the box, I'm kind of in the Matrix mindset. There is no box.
I like it. Yeah.
Thought. I mean, I'll shut up and leave that alone. I just wanted to bring that up after our little discussion about the little constellations in the fabric.
Yeah.
Maybe part of your constellation could overlap.
Vlad led a really interesting conversation in our Inspirations channel yesterday and today about just avatars and digital personalities, and how, all these different parts of us, in these different multiverses can express, it's kind of like having multiple personalities. It's not a disorder though in the metaverse. It's more, I don't know, it's more ordered.
I mean,
psychologists who say that you have a version of this already. Is everybody has multiple personalities inside of them. That's what indecision essentially is two conflicting parts of you debating over what the priority will be, and they're essentially having an internal dialogue over who gets the priority, who gets what they want. Well, when you break this out with these digital personalities, these external you are essentially being able to take that internal dialogue and move it external. And I think it's a good thing because it allows you to examine what goes on inside your own head better. The only problem is, if you're not careful, somebody else can be looking over your shoulder, and that makes it easy for them to observe what you're doing, monitor it, manipulate it, and make sure they feed you only what they want you to know to get you to decide what they want you to decide. But, everybody's got challenges.
Yeah, great points. I think...
I wasn't trying to take it off the topic. I just, as we were talking about it, I thought that might tie in to being able to do multiple things to satisfy multiple bosses, essentially.
Yeah. I know when I was talking to Lauren a few months ago, that's what, like I told her, like my goal was to really, get proficient in 3D and really get to design dresses. That's, one of my goals. So, if I could, be, I guess, use a DAO in her space doing that, and it fits in, then yeah. Or if I could do that in the fashion DAO, And with Alana, that's like, creating a show has been another goal of mine for a long time. So it fits perfectly.
Yeah. We're like, yeah.
That's my next. Yeah.
Me too sometimes.
That's true.
Kat?
Yes.
Were you just laughing?
I was just thinking about the fashion DAO.
No, let's not think about the fashion DAO. No more. Too crazy. No, but wait. Where did we started like incentivizing, right? Bounties, reward models based on energy instead of time. I wonder if so. Actually, let me pull up the white paper,
because if you use the energy more efficiently, you're still going to get more done than you would. It's got to be about outcome, because the whole point is the end value. What are you actually bringing to the table? And I don't mean that to be argumentative, but it is a significant difference, because if one person is doing everything by hand, I mean, there's a mystique and a quality to that has value, but it's going to use a whole lot more energy than if somebody's doing it by machine, which may actually give you a better quality project, but it doesn't have the same, import basically, or vice versa. Perhaps something done mass-produced by a machine isn't going to have the same, the same, whatever you want to call it, mystique as a hand calligraphy note from someone.
But the thing with that is that then you're valuing people on what they're capable of versus who they are, or them just being a person.
Yep. And that's the way the world works, baby. I'm sorry. It's a sad, twisted thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to. It could be a mix. It could be an algorithm that mixes in like all of those areas. Right? It's like it's almost like the
value, but you're always going to be valuing your skills.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what we're. I mean, for me, like this is what I see that we're trying to change. Like, you don't
part of it.
You get money to eat because you're a person, because you exist, not because of what you're capable of or what you're not capable of.
No, you get that. That's you get.
No, guys. I think.
Hold on. I promise I can make it so much easier. You get money to eat because of what you can do and how you do it, and that you bring value to somebody else.
That's how it's happening now, and that's what. Okay.
The beauty of it is, if you do that and you do it very, very well, and you do that to the extremes that we're doing, that technology keeps rolling, everything goes back in expense, and everything gets more efficient to the point where, just like a water fountain, the cost to deliver clean, clear water to somebody is so inexpensive that people don't even think about charging you to go to a water fountain and take a drink. They'll get to the point where they don't even think about charging you to go get basic food, to go get basic stuff. It'll be that easy, just because it'll be so abundant if we do it right. The problem is, if we try to do this to each according to their needs deal, every time we've tried that, we've starved half the population. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just saying historically that's how it's always worked.
No, the statement is quite right, of course, right? But I also get what Kat is saying. Kat is saying, like, it's time to look at this from a different perspective, and I think she's right as well.
We're only one. There's only a quarter of the world that has access to these things because of that model.
Yeah, but the point is that we do it in a wholesome way, right? So you're right. We should incentivize people about what they bring to the table, but we should do it in a way that doesn't, require certification of some sort, right? I see this a lot in South America, where people are just being exploited for wanting education, and this is a horrible model. And I mean, the US is the same, right? So point is that you take in all of those factors in your equation. You take in the value that you bring as a human, right? Even if you're just there to make people smile or to stir up a conversation, right? It's like a part of you, right, Vlad? It's like who you are intrinsically.
I am not disputing that there is value in that.
Exactly.
I'm just saying it may not be enough value to buy you a Lamborghini.
No, I agree with you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. This is what your needs covered.
No, but
maybe depending on how you define need.
You guys, can I please?
Yeah, no, I'm just going to right. I know. This could go a lot of different ways. You need to control it, Stella.
No, I love how she's doing it. I really wish she was right. I really do.
No, I am very right. I am very right. If you would listen to me, you would agree with me. Okay.
So never disagree with our fearless leader. I told you that.
Exactly. Bo. No. Okay. No. So point is, right, if we factor in all of those elements, if we factor in the value that the person brings just as being the person who they are, we factor in the value that a person brings through their formal education that they have received, right? And we factor in the value that they can spend as in time on, a certain project or something, right? If we factor in all of those elements, I feel this is when we actually get what Mo was saying, where we get to the energy point. We just would have to do it through an actual algorithm, right? But point is, you could do that, mathematically speaking, So maybe you just gave me the best of ideas I think I've had in a long time. But okay, I'm going to distract you guys now for a second, because Do you know this book?
I can't read it, Lori.
Not a clue. I haven't even seen it. No, I can't read German. Sorry.
Okay, 10 Principles of Good Design by Dieter Rams. Have you ever heard of this guy?
We have. Believe it or not.
I know. I think
I heard about it, but I've heard of it.
I think he's pretty famous throughout the world, even though he has only been right, like designing for the German company Braun ever in his life. But he developed these like 10 principles. And when I was joining the study group today on token engineering, you know, like I asked myself a lot about like how will I host my study group, right? Because they asked me if I would want to do it, and I really want to do it. And, you know, so I was thinking about it. When I was thinking about it, I had to think back about like those 10 principles of design. And I'm gonna try and find you the English version in a second. Give me 10 seconds. 10 principles of good design. Dieter Rams, right? And so those principles are: good design is innovative, right? That's the first one. The second one is, come on. I don't want to have like some word. Okay. Good design is innovative. Good design makes a product useful. Good design is aesthetic. Good design makes a product understandable. Good design is unobtrusive. Good design is honest. Good design is long-lasting. Good design is thorough down to the last detail. Good design is environmentally friendly. And good design is as little design as possible. And with, you know, I just think it fits so well also in how we design, for example, reward systems, right? It fits so well. It also fits so well on how do you design a token for your community, you know, custom tailored. How do you do that? By factoring in all the elements, not just one or two or three, right? You go in and you really dive deep and you ask yourself, what is good design, you know, in terms of a token when it comes to making it understandable? Like, how do you make a token understandable, right? How do you make a reward system understandable? So I think
this is like all user experience, and I'm such a nerd for this.
What?
This is all user experience, and I'm such a nerd for this. Like, this is like, I'm so here for this conversation. Thank you.
That's great. I put this thing also in the general chat if you want to check it out later. But yeah, it's you know, I think there's like so much work that we can do on making those things better and experienceable in a way that people really enjoy it, and where it doesn't seem like a tool and it seems more like a natural way of doing things. Thinking, you know, like today we pay with credit cards mainly, or with like cards, right? A lot of us do, not everyone, obviously. And, you know, you have this like little plastic thing that you keep with yourself, right? Now go back 200 years or not even, right? When you had to trade like your potatoes against someone else's tomatoes, right? It was like it required logistics, right? It wasn't that easy. Or you had to carry gold coins or even like paper money, you know? And I think it's an analogy, right? Where like this had to go through this process to eventually get to the point of plastic money, card money. And now we're talking like wallets, right? Even though like a lot of people on the planet don't even have access to a computer or to a phone. So this is also why I think, you know, this claim that we talked about during the Alana show meeting. I talked a little bit about banking the bankless and this original claim of crypto and a lot of like decentralized exchanges, and how that thoroughly failed, and it keeps failing, even though it has such a intended mindset, right? And I think the reason for that is that those companies not even partially also DAOs who are really trying to do this, right? They're having such a hard time to actually successfully implement it because they don't understand the culture that they are talking to, right? And this is also why, for the Alana project, I said from the beginning, in 2.5 years from now, we're going to open source the full infrastructure of it. It's because we need other people to take the infrastructure, not Alana, right? The infrastructure, and translate it into their language, right? Make their avatar that's native to them and their community, and put another Elena in place, in another side of the world, with their language, their cultural background, their understanding of their community, and do what we've been doing with Alana, just for another part of civilization, essentially, right? We cannot do this part. We could do it. Of course we could, right? But I just don't think it will be as successful or as well perceived as if, for example, maybe in 3 years from now, Isabel feels completely inspired, to create her own indigenous Peruvian avatar, right? Translate all of what we've done with her own team into Spanish and bring this really close, this knowledge and all of the resources that we've built to that point, bring them closer to their community. And I think this is when you create true long-lasting value, right? Where you let other societies decide for themselves, essentially, I think. I think that's what I was trying to say. I'm sorry it took so long. God, it took long.
It was beautiful.
Oh, Stella, so beautiful. And that, that's part of what I love about this project, that it is for everyone. And maybe we have to write our own festo. And I am an eco-effective designer, so I design with the principles of eco-effective design, and it has their own manifesto. And the number one thing, is how do we love all species? How do we love the children of all species for all time? So that's the number one thing you think about when you start designing, is this giving love to every species, all the children of all species for all time. Is it going to ever harm down to do anything that's not giving? So I can post if we want to look at these principles too, and
sure,
think
them in. Pop them in for sure, I think. You put them in our call chat, right? Yeah, true.
Oh,
No, you're totally right. I should have put I just realized we have a call chat. I'm so dumb. Let me put mine there as well. Makes so much more sense.
Yeah. I think that's the Fabricant. They have their manifesto, and these are the principles. This is the guiding light to everything that they do. I know Alana has it too, but defining it so that we can whatever we make, a token, how we operate in the DAO, all the different parts.
Yeah. I think with the token, it's going to be. I had a while ago this very long conversation with Mark about designing the token, right? And something that he kept warning for. Actually, I think he also kept warning Benko for it. But if it's a DAO, not everyone listens to you, right? And he said like novelty can sometimes bite you in the butt, right? And so he said to me, because I had all of these like really novel ideas, and he was like, oh, this is really cool, but no, don't do it. And I'm like, wait, why? You know, it's like, if it's cool and it's new, we should do that, right? And he said, well, the more novel you go, the more probable you get hacked. Or something just, you know, starts like really fucking up everything. So he said that, you know, it would be a good idea to come up with a mix, like a healthy mix of novelty and like already proven concepts, right? And I think, so while, you know, I would like to design the craziest, coolest, newest, most and best token in the world, right? I think, I still think his advice is probably something we should listen to. Coming up with a concept that is a little bit novel, but, you know, also relies on things that actually work already. I think that's probably, I still think it's good advice. So, not going to...
On your incentive program? On your incentive program, let me strongly recommend you find 5 used car salesmen in your area. And I'm serious as a heart attack. And have them do their best to game the system. Because if anybody has had time to figure out how to game a commission structure or whatever, salesmen, they spend their whole lives figuring out how to maximize what they're going to get out of their commission structure. I did it for 30 years. I understand it.
Yeah.
Because the people up top, they don't care. They're trying to maximize what they're going to get.
Yeah.
So they're coming up with these structures, and so you have to figure out how to make sure that you get paid because they're maximizing what is going to benefit the shareholder. So you have to figure out how to do it. So you sit down and figure out, okay, what are they incentivizing? And then you try to maximize how you get paid best out of it. If anybody's going to find holes in your system, a guy that's spent his whole life, how he gets paid is based on incentives. He's going to know where the holes in your incentive program are and where somebody's going to be able to manipulate it. I just strongly recommend, and don't let it be me because I'm going to be the one that's going to be in there with it. Don't let it be me. Let it be 5 people that are not involved.
No, but
try to pick it apart.
You misunderstood though. I wasn't talking about the incentive structure. I was talking about the token design.
You understand? I was talking about this from before because I'm going to have to bounce because I'm in a meeting.
Okay.
So I just wanted to get that in before I left. Because as much as I'm enjoying this conversation, I've got to go.
Okay. Bye, Vlad.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Yeah, it's I got what he was saying. You know, it's like when you do something that is like complex or intricate, and all those different parts haven't been explored. Yeah, you're exposed.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting. You know, I don't know if car salesmen would know much about tokenomics.
They're probably not, but the reward structure could be interesting to ask them about. But I think, the reward structure right now, it's like just for like, it's not just for, but it's like essentially for people who come into the server to learn, right? And so it's based on a series of tasks. So there is not really gaming a system, but like when we're moving on to like, bounties, for example, right? So I just talked the other day with the guys from D-Work, and they have been implementing, let me actually put this on screen. I don't know, am I sharing my screen? No, I'm not. Wait, give me a second. I can show you what's been going on. So they've been like really nice and no, that's Powerpuff Girls, that's D-Work. Okay. So Lonis is like the founder of D-Work and or the original founder, whatever. I think they already moved into a DAO setup. So so he was like, I requested before like maybe retroactive bounties, right? and not requested it. I just, like put it in here because I was like, maybe this is interesting. And so they have like started to implement something like this, where you can actually use retroactive bounties. And so I think maybe we're gonna try this. So I think honestly, like probably the best results we will get, right, is by just trying everything in quotation marks, but like trying it in a series of measurable instances, right? So let's say we run bounties, for example, with this retroactive bounty thing for a week or maybe 2 weeks, right? And then we stop again, right? We cut it. We have the data from what happened, what didn't happen from that. Then we take, for example, the same bounties or comparable bounties to, for example, the ThriveCoin platform, right? And put them up there. And then I could, whatever. Point is, I think we need to, like we discussed in the beginning, right? I think it's a series of trial and error to really get close to what people actually respond to. Don't you think so? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I like that, doing like test runs. And I think even 2 weeks might even be too short. I feel like 3 weeks is like enough time to kind of,
maybe, yeah.
It's to kind of like forget it's there and then come back to it, and then like forget it's there, let it do its magic, and then come back to it.
Yeah.
And a month might be too long.
No, 3 weeks seems like a good point you have there. Yeah.
It might be a better capture.
Yeah.
Especially because you could go, if someone's away or doing a break, it's usually not longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Yeah, we should probably try those things. I mean, I don't know, Anna, if you have yet had the time to review what I posted in the Nucleus chat. It's like reward structure for learn, co-create, and build. Maybe you can take a look. Mo, do you want to share maybe something more with us?
Just the biggest thing, which is these spatials and us being in there, building in there. Anybody that's building stuff, collaborating, putting in there. We're preparing for a launch event, and we'll have different collaborators that will be able to be in there. During the last Fashion Friday, I made a big point, like, we're having these Twitter spaces, but imagine if we were actually in spatial and people were in avatars and you were talking to them about your digital fashion because they can actually use it, and like how much more beneficial that would be for creators and spreading the awareness on what we're doing. So that's my main focus, is just the metaverse, building in there. Like I said, spatial has been showing mad love since being in there. So that's our primary focus, is just kind of even getting our community in here. It's kind of like either start building or move on, because, we're really trying to let people know this is not a social group. This is more like, if you want to be building, this is the place to be. If you're going physical to digital, this is the place to be. If you're educating, this is the place to be. But, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So we're trying to like sharpen everyone, whether you're gaming or doing whatever, like start educating about it or adding, value to the space, because we're all, early and pioneering at this time, but we're not going to be early forever. So it's like, let's get active and hold each member accountable, and just kind of be more about like holding each member accountable and like really pushing them to like get active, or, maybe find a different community that might be better for them. And then just also being mindful when it comes to our collaborations and like what we're putting time and energy into. And I know one of the things I heard you guys talking about when we first started was, that time is not something that we can be wasting, so just making sure that those that are putting time into is going to have returns, because, things that if we're in the space like spatial is going against meta. And we know that, that is a big force to be going against, because they've got a lot of things figured out. They're going public. They've got a lot of the logistics already figured out. So us that are, starting out and kind of being independent and trying to figure it out, it's like it's figured out. We just got to be doing it efficiently to actually have a chance to be successful our own selves and have leverage more than anything, and say, hey, well, we've got my community and your community all together. We've really got all this energy behind us, like I was saying before, and making sure that energy is like, you know, everybody putting their energy together to just be efficient and worthwhile in the long run. Because, you know, we've all put in a lot of time, you know, even with the GDN, and that was a lot of time that was just like lots of learning, but you know, we had to have a point where we started over. And then I heard you guys kind of saying the same thing with the fashion doll, where it's like a lot of time having to go in there, and you know, you got to get to that point where it's like, oh, well, here I am again at this fork in the road, and you know, trying to just be super mindful of avoiding those forks now, because you know, time is of the essence. We're not going to be early forever. That door is closing, and we want to be in the door and get our people in the door, and then bust that door wide open for everyone after us. Yeah. So that's been my focus these past few weeks, and just trying to balance that in real life, and you know, metaversing, and just being efficient on my time.
Yeah. No, you're obviously right. Sometimes
that was like such a great motivational speech.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah. That like really, I really thank you for that. I didn't know I could do that on Wednesday. That was amazing.
Motivation. I used to have motivational Mondays.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm a bit corny sometimes, but that's me.
So good.
Oh, by the way, Mo, this Fashion Fridays, you also want to stream it from Spatial?
Yeah, I do. So I stream the Twitter space right there in our space, so you can hop in anytime. I dropped a link in that Telegram. I'm never in that Telegram though, so I can drop a link to our Spatial here in your Discord, and you guys can check it out anytime. If you want, you know, more little things in there, put it in there. I would say go make a space in Spatial. Like, it's so easy to do. It's so easy. They have templates that are already made, but I'm like, you know how to make like 3D environments, so you could obviously build something awesome. And I know you guys are building your own entity, but it's like that could be like a little hub, and then you can link, you know, people to go other places, and then we can have portals. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I've been all over the world, like Germany, Thailand, Paris. Like, I met doctors that are in there that I meet every Thursday, and they bring in their 3D spines. And then another guy that was in Germany, and he has like a whole university, and just like so many people that are doing different things. And it's like being able to portal to these different spaces and find like these new worlds, you know? So I would say get in Spatial, build your own little space too, you know?
Yeah,
and then
we can do
we'll
that.
put a little portal in our hub, and then, you know, just keep connecting and cross-pollinating and growing. I've joined a few that people that I've like, you know, followed on Twitter, and then they dropped their portals, and it's like, this is so cool, you know, Tokyo White and XR Couture, and just all these, you know, other people that's in the space. And it's like, this is how we really be able to build. And like I said, I told them on Fashion Fridays, like, we need to start kind of pivoting this too, because even if we had those same 20 people that's in Twitter space in our space at that time, we're going to be on the Explore page, and then also gets those people that's already in Spatial in that space listening to what we're talking about. And how much easier would it be able to talk to people that are already in digital avatars?
And I think it's important too that Spatial, like, it's like building a relationship with Spatial as well.
Yeah, exactly. They literally love that. Like, I've been in there a week, and they've been reposting us on Instagram. Like I said, follow us on Instagram, and was like, yes, we see you. Like, you put it out there. We love what you're doing, and we are going to be successful because of creators like you. So the more people like us that come in there, and that they show are like in there working together, they want to support our kind of projects, you know? So it's like, go to where they actually show love and care. And I feel like so far, Spatial has definitely been like caring.
So would we be able to like upload Arendelle Chateau into Spatial, or could there be a portal from like in Spatial to go to Arendelle Chateau?
I think,
like, how would that work?
Yeah, I think the best way of answering that question is probably like Mo said, getting in contact with the Spatial guys.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best approach. So looking at Anna, my better half in business development.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know you can do 3D models in like import environments. But yeah, even get in contact to see the whole logistics.
I think so.
I know it's really easy to hit like links and travel from inside a spatial kind of thing. But yeah, even, like you said, talking with them and letting them know what you have really going on, and then letting you know how they can connect and really empower that and enable that, that's what they're looking for.
Could you do an intro, Mo? Because I don't know, we did an event, but I wasn't part of that. If you could, like, do an intro for Stella and me and about the, and maybe say that they have a 3D photo or some, and they have some questions, like the part of the run.
Well, why don't we also I think we should do a meeting in Spatial first, and then, or attend Fashion Friday, like one of the things is, you know what I mean? Like,
7 this Friday, my time.
What time is it? Yeah, I think it's very early your time. I think it's 7 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't realize it was earlier. But yeah, we'll be streaming it. You guys hop in. We'll be definitely streaming it. And then we have like a whole all-day like lineup of events. So even if you don't make that one, you can hop in anytime. And then, like I said, yeah, we have our community calls on Sunday too. And the way we did it, we're streaming our Discord. We streamed our Spatial in Discord, and then our Discord in Spatial. So whether you were in Discord, you were watching us in Spatial, and if you're in Spatial, you can hear the people in Discord. So that we were just literally cross-pollinating so much and showing people, like, just click the link and hop in here. We have like fruit and champagne on the tables, like, enjoy the meeting. We're not trying to take it up a notch, and just showing people again, this is why you use the space to take whatever you got going up a notch.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that for our show meeting on Friday? We'll have it to the Discord Spatial thing.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk to you too about this, because our show meeting is literally during the time the Fashion Fridays is. So
that's why I haven't attended the Fashion Fridays.
Yeah, so I was wondering if we could shift our meeting for an hour later, because then we will be able to also go to Fashion Fridays on more than one occasion.
Oh, then that means that it's 8 o'clock my time.
Is it 8 o'clock your time?
Yeah.
I don't think so, because it is Fashion Fridays.
Well, when do you have it scheduled? What time zone?
I think Fashion Fridays is 10 a.m. Lima time. And I think 10 a.m. Lima in, you're in Los Angeles, right? I'm not wrong with this.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. That's 8. Sorry. I thought it was 7.
It's 8. Okay. Yeah. So then let's do that. Let's meet at in Spatial in Mo's room, and then have our meeting. Perfect.
Yeah.
Then I signed up for a Token Academy intro thing that's this Friday, and I want to double check that it doesn't.
No, it's not. I have it in my calendar as well.
What time?
It's very early. You really want to go there? So the token engineering introduction meeting is 3 a.m. my time, which means it's 4 a.m. your time.
No.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I gotta go, but
okay.
I'll see you Friday. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow. You guys come, Mo, Kat, tomorrow, 9 a.m. PDT to...
Oh, 12, is this the Alana Fabricant?
Yes.
At 12 EDT, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and Stella, I'd love, if you can, show Alana's bedroom. just like a sneak peek of her.
Yeah. I can do that.
You can't.
I can do that. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, okay, good.
That's a good idea. Also, you want to quickly see how the outfit looks like in the current stage, because I still have to work on it today and tomorrow morning.
Stress, yeah, but sure, yeah.
I'm so bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for always being like behind with everything, literally. Wait, it's opening now. Give me a second. I can show you guys. But I mean, in her defense, she's gonna be the first of Alana's friends, so that's cool, I guess. The fabricant clothing part 3. Okay, opening now. And taking forever, as per usual. I'm sorry. Yay!
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Right? It's coming together. It was so much work to do all of those fucking details.
Sure. Oh my god! And I just noticed the I don't know if you want to call it a cat or a pussy on her crotch.
Yes.
Isn't that what you designed?
Yeah.
But here you didn't make it into a cat, or are you still going to?
No, maybe. I'm not sure about it. I just realized I missed a seam here, so I have to reconnect that seam. But yeah, so that's the current state right now. I have to make like all the custom textures, and after the custom textures are done, I'm gonna post and import into Blender. Yeah, but the textures are a bit tricky to make, I realized, so it's gonna take
so
a little bit longer.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's so cool.
And also, it's like it's fairly, like, I would say fairly really like on point of, you know, the original, like this is the original. So just ignore for now the textures, right? The textures are not right, and also I need to do some sculpting on like some of those elements. But I would say like
texture.
What?
Even though it's not what you have on your board, you know, I kind of like it.
You do? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, but it's with the other texture, it will look more fabulous. So let's make the other texture. Also with like the little crystals attached to her, it's gonna look really cool. So let's make the crystals.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the second outfit, right? That's for another time. I'm not doing this right now.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
All right, please. I will catch you tomorrow, hopefully, and if not tomorrow, Friday for sure. Mo.
Yes, I hope to see you guys on Friday.
That's a great idea by Stella. And I thought it was 7, but it's great that it's 8.
Yeah, it's actually great. Also, okay, I just have one more question to Mo. Don't leave yet. I want to ask you one.
But I can leave, right?
Yes. Bye, Anna.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.